James's coworker David, who is the son of a Jewish Holocaust survivor, invites James and his mother Rachel to his traditional Jewish wedding. Now, Rachel agrees to go to the wedding only if her daughter Kathy goes with her. Now, at the wedding, Rachel recognizes all the Jewish traditions and customs and tells James and Kathy all about them. As the wedding ends, it is pouring down rain, so Kathy goes out to get the car. As James is walking his mother Rachel out to the car, Rachel lets go of his hand and in the pouring down rain stares back up at the synagogue and just remembers all of her past and her childhood and the life that she left behind. The first person we are introduced to is Helena Wind. She is a Holocaust survivor after living in the sewers for 14 months after the Nazis invaded her hometown of Poland. She goes on to have one child named David, and she dies in 1982 after having open heart surgery. Now, her one son, David, named David Lee Preston, is best friends with James, and they meet each other because they work in the same reporting business. David and James are both jazz enthusiasts, and they find out that they both come from Jewish backgrounds. David invites James and his mother, Rachel, to his wedding and asks David to be a part of his wedding. The next character is James, and he is the speaker of the chapter. We see all the events unfold through his eyes, and he is actually in David's wedding, and his mother shows him around the synagogue. Now, Rachel is the next person, and she is invited to the wedding, but says she will only go if her daughter Kathy goes with her, because she likes to have a daughter there instead of a son at emotional events. Now, at the wedding, she tells James and Kathy all about the different Jewish traditions and customs that she recognizes, but says she feels as a guest because she has left all those things behind in her life and no longer practices Judaism. Now, she as the wedding ends, she stops and stares back at the synagogue as a final way or closure of remembering her Jewish past. Finally, the last character is Kathy, and Kathy is important because Rachel said that she would not go to the wedding without her, and so if Kathy would have not gone to the wedding, odds are Rachel would have not gone to the wedding. The quote from the epilogue that I believe best represents the color of water is found on page 284, and the quote is, "That's how it's done." The reason why I chose the quote, "That's how it's done," it can be based on what Rachel says on page 51. When James asks his mother what color God is, and if he likes black people or white people better, Rachel says that God is the color of water because water doesn't have a color. Now, this can represent that God does not have favorites, and that he does not like black people better than white people, or white people better than black people. And the reason why I chose this quote is because that's how it should be done in the real world, that we don't have favorites, but that we treat everyone equally. Rachel uses the quote, "That's how it's done," when describing when Kathy goes to get the car for her when it's pouring down rain. That can be connected to real life because when men go on dates and they go to get the car for their date or open the door for them, that's how it needs to be done in order to be viewed as a gentleman.